Fernandes has been struggling so far this season, and we talked about those struggles yesterday. In the interview, he was also asked about the intensity that he shows on the pitch. Of course, a lot of arm waving, and some people, including like Roy Keane, question whether or not he should be the captain of Manchester United. On being demanding and intense, it says this often conveys the image of bad temper because it comes from the way we experience the game, from how we are so intense. And intense players are difficult to understand. There's a lot of intense there, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the guys will know it. What it boils down to is he's frustrated by the players around him, that a lot of them aren't good enough, and he's frustrated that they're not playing to the level that he wants. He's frustrated at referees' decisions. He's taking his frustrations out on everybody, referees, opponents. But I just think it boils down to the fact that he's not content with the players, the majority of the players that are around him.
Frankie's one of your favourite players.
Yeah, I've been quite critical about Bruno Fernandes. I recognise his talent, and and I want to explain that people from south of Europe, and I'm one of them. I was born in Marseille. When we talk like Italian, we talk with the hands, and we express everything with our body. So he's kind of a player like that. When he wants to show a frustration, for example, he has to do it and show it with his hands. And it's not because he's becoming, worse than we think. He's just expressing himself. So I think he should calm down.
Manchester United have just come off one of the biggest wins they've had for I don't know how long against a fantastic team. One of the best quarter-finals that we have seen in many a year. Went all the way, almost to penalties. It was end-to-end. And I think there's a time and a place. And I don't think it's now. We know he's a frustrating player. We know he's not having the best of seasons. And we know he can get a bit indisciplined in his game. But he played his part. I mean, he worked hard and he didn't blah, blah, blah. And for me, what I don't understand is why we're picking the bones out a player in a week where his club have just had the biggest result that they could ever have had imagined, bearing in mind their circumstances.
I suppose because he's addressed this in the interview.
Interview?
The interview that he's given. And he's talking about this.
No, I don't
he's talking about the intensity.
Any interviews.
No, but that's why it's not as if we've suddenly gone out of the air and gone, let's talk about Bruno Fernandes today. It's reacting to the interview that he's given. But obviously, this is a man, as you say, who was playing on one leg for the last 30 minutes in extra time. And I think, obviously, when a lot of fans are doing
it's all very moot. And when a team is winning, all these things are basically a moot point because at the end of the day, everything gets brushed over when you're getting results.
But what about the summer and the swallow?
Well, what about it?
What about that?
Listen, I understand exactly what Craig's saying, but then to Bruno Fernandes and doing this interview, it's a good time for him to do the interview because of that game. So he comes out and kind of opens up these discussion points. For one, I don't think Bruno Fernandes is that good a captain, and to the criticism from players like Roy Keane, who was every bit as animated, who shouted at his teammates every bit as much as Bruno Fernandes did. And to Mark's point, Roy Keane had far better players around him. I'm not sure that's much of an excuse for Bruno Fernandes in this instance, because while we're talking about a lesser player, lesser Manchester United, I'm not sure that Bruno Fernandes gets into one of the Premier League's big boys. I'm not sure that he gets into City's starting 11, or Liverpool's, or Arsenal's. So maybe that's just the level that he is right now. That's the level where Manchester United are. I just feel that while he's animated, while he's critical, he doesn't pull the team together in the way that Roy Keane did, or certainly seemed to do. And that, for me, will be my complaint. I have no issue with the remonstrations. I just don't feel that the team kind of rallies around him in the way that previous Manchester United managers.
Well, he's not a captain. He's not. Look, this is a different sort of discussion and debate. He's not a captain, certainly not of Man United. Not a leader, and that's not the player he is. But in terms of having a go at other players or throwing your arms around, show me players that don't get animated, and I'll show you players that don't care.
We'll wrap up Manchester United segment by asking where you are, Mark. What are you doing?
I'm in Budapest, so it's obviously, as we know, it's the playoffs this week for the Euros. So three teams are going to qualify next week. So I'm doing the Israel against Iceland game because obviously it's a bigger picture of this one. Israel may qualify for the Euro, so it's a story that obviously will catch people's attention. So I'm watching the Israel-Iceland game and seeing if they can get to a final next week against Ukraine or Bosnia.
Oh my God, that'll drive the FC.com absolutely through the building, won't it?
That's it. Thank you very much, Mark. Much appreciated.